Why are you looking at me? Wait, am I supposed to be doing something right? No. Okay, so I'll host. I am the first name now. That's why it's harder for you.
That's
so
true.
Okay. So who's O? Who's A?
O is Opie. A is Anthony.
What are their last names?
Cumia, Anthony Cumia, and Gregg, Opie Hughes.
So wait, Gregg, Opie, Hughes?
Yes.
And where were they born?
Well, they're both New Yorkers.
They were born in New York?
Yes.
Oh.
So the whole point of this show, for those who clicked on this, and
I'm just going to do an autobiographical questionnaire.
So the whole goal of O&A De-Talks is to, I keep saying detox because that's what it's a play off, but it's De-Talks. I guess I should specify the pronunciation there. It's a detoxing the O&A virus in a way of bringing it back to the very beginning, breaking it down, and leading you through the rise and fall of both Anthony Cumia and Gregg Opie Hughes, both professionally and personally, through their histories in radio. So you asked specifically where they're both from. They're both native New Yorkers.
You reading something?
Not yet. I have Opie's Wikipedia, though, pulled up specifically for this very question. For those who don't know who O&A are, which again is another point of the show, is that Opie and Anthony were, in their own way, pioneer shock jocks in the late 90s into the 2000s, based out of New York. And I am personally fascinated with them historically because I listened to them a lot when they first came to New York. I was 9 or 10 in 1998. And it was an instance where my dad had just come home from work and he was listening to him on his drive home and said, "Hey, I think you'll think these people are really funny. Put on 102.7, listen to Opie and Anthony."
Hey 8-year-old. I think you'll think these shock jock guys are real funny.
How do you like these dick jokes, kid? I know you're going to love these. These are right up your alley. You're listening to Weird Al and watching Nickelodeon.
Which is a great reflection on the humor that your dad comes home and says, "Hey kid, hey 8-year-old, I think you'll like this. You might," is a way to be like, oh, you may be the target demographic to this show.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, the whole demographic was the 18 to 20 whatever.
No, 8 to 20.
8 to 20, right. Which I think we'll find as we go that the humor is very immature. To a point where it's not out of the realm of possibility that an 8 or 9 or 10-year-old would think this shit is funny. Now, is it necessarily appropriate for people that age? No, I wouldn't say so. But some of it could kind of fall into the same stuff as you might see in some like R-rated movie that you might happen to rent from Blockbuster, and like watching an American Pie or some shit. It's not much worse than that.
I've seen all those.
At times. It does get worse than that.
Man.
But so going back to why we're doing this show specifically, is because a lot of people know who Howard Stern is. They may not be able to tell you a bit or one of the characters from the show, but everyone has heard of Howard Stern at least. They know what he does. Opie and Anthony, if you were to ask me, were as important. Nearly not as many people have heard of them. And I think it's a shame because if you care about radio and the history of radio, and as someone who growing up really wanted to get into radio, I'm super fascinated by the whole thing, the medium, the changes and the influence that O&A had on the format. It's an interesting history lesson in radio itself, how we got to where we are now in pop culture, and the hand that they had played in that, for better or worse.
Yeah, like and just from what you've told me and what I've learned through osmosis, Howard Stern and O&A were sort of, hand in hand. I imagine they had the same audience to some degree.
Definitely had the same audience because we'll find out they initially were not in competition. While Howard is doing mornings in New York, Opie and Anthony are doing afternoons or nights. So if you were a Howard Stern listener, you could potentially be listening to the radio in the morning to Howard, then listening to Opie and Anthony in the evening. And it's so hard for people in 2022 to imagine, why the fuck would I be listening to the radio that much in the day? But this was a legitimate form of entertainment.
Yeah.
That people would sit and listen to the radio, not just in their car driving home, But they would listen to it at home, too.
Yeah, every day.
Every day. Because you got to follow it. You got to see. They'd be teasing things for tomorrow. You'd know what guests are going to be there. They'd give you a reason to want to listen.
Do you think that you would have wanted to be in radio or podcasting or anything like that if you hadn't listened to O&A?
Probably not as much. I was interested in radio before that, and I was recording things at home, bits, little comedy tapes. But
do we get to hear any of that at some point?
Maybe. I can find some. I know where they are. I was listening to WPLJ and Scott and Todd in the mornings. So I was aware of radio, but I wasn't listening to radio as much. I guess the difference there is, while Scott and Todd were the more wacky morning DJ, kind of more like a zoo crew, where they're doing like goofy bits and parody songs, even though parody songs are very crucial to O&A also. We'll get to that.
Oh, no.
That one very specific in this episode itself.
Oh, I haven't eaten.
I'm sorry. And O&A was more like a hang. It was more just two dudes hanging out, and because of how they presented themselves, seemed much younger than they actually were.
So that they're like us.
Yeah, they're just like us, man.
They're just, they're just bros like us. They're just like duties like us. Just like...
Anthony definitely wasn't born in 1960, and Opie definitely wasn't born in 63. They're definitely not the same age as my fucking parents. So when my dad comes home and says, listen to Opie and Anthony, it's literally one guy is his age. So when you're listening there as a kid, that doesn't pick up. Like, that doesn't click with you. It just sounds like two dudes who are maybe 20s at their oldest. I want to lay out the history of what got us to what we're going to listen to today. I have somewhat of a kinship to Opie in that while I did some radio in high school, Opie was doing radio in college. He was attending the State University of New York at Geneseo, and he did radio there. So that was his in.
Okay.
From there, after graduating, he was working in the promotions department at WCMF in Rochester, New York. Then moving on to the show, to the station's morning show hosted by Brother Wheeze.
Did he wheeze the juice?
He did wheeze the juice. We're not going to be talking about him much, I don't think.
Can we talk about Pauly Shore? Does Pauly Shore come on the Opie and Anthony show?
He does at some point, but I don't think it's until like the 2010s, probably.
I want to listen to that one.
We'll see if I'm making that up. He left WCMF to work midnight to 6 a.m.
Wow.
At WUFX in Buffalo, New York.
You fucks.
Unsupervised during his shift, Hughes was able to develop his style further by performing more outrageous bits, like broadcasting from the roof of the station's building.
The Beatles.
Like the Beatles before him. And interviewing passerbys on the street.
Passengers in cars.
Yeah.
The windows open.
Hey, it's Opie! Hey! So, the first clip I have, young Gregg Opie Hughes, working at... Old Gregg. Working at... Does it say the call letters? It doesn't. It's still 103.3, the Fox. Buffalo's home of rock and roll.
Buffalo's home of quality rock and roll. 6:36. Gracious, good morning. You're on your way with the Bear Man. We got the whole Fox crew. We're here at the at the reviewing stand for the first annual Fox Fools Parade. We're located just 1/2 mile west of Furman Boulevard near Shooters, and they're still working on getting some of the barriers.
Some of these vendors we got over here, they want to know where the hell they're supposed to be.
Vendors. Who's?
It sounded like they were recording from inside of a pharmacy full of sick people that was still being built.
What I think the setup here is that someone is building a stand, a potential vendor is building their stand to sell their wares. I think that is the setup for the joke here.
Oh, there's a joke. Okay.
Let's look at the page. Well,
No. Good morning, Bearman.
Ladies and gentlemen, put them together for Spuds.
I'm here to make a buck this morning.
Spuds, when aren't you here to make a buck, huh?
Hey.
So do you have your vendor permit?
Yeah.
I'll trust you, okay?
Okay.
Now you gonna be vending up and down the parade route today?
I'm gonna be selling fudgy-wudgy bars this morning. And I got a slogan.
Yeah.
A buck first.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much, Spuds. Now, why don't you go vend somewhere else, huh?
All right.
It's cold.
Fudgy bars, fudgy.
Hey, Spuds, wait, before you go away. Now, are those cold fudgy wudgy bars or are they warm ones?
Well, I heated them up in the microwave this morning.
Spuds Buckley.
That's Opie?
That is Opie's character. I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah, tell me, what am I supposed to... You want me to comment on it?
What do you think of Spuds Buckley? Yeah.
It reminds me of Spuds McKenzie.
Oh, the original party animal.
Yeah, but it also reminds me of Slugs McKenzie from Futurama. Was that the character's name?
I think...
With the slurm?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's what I visualize. I imagine a big cartoon slug that's trying to hand out...
Fudgy Wudgy bars.
Melted Fudgy Wudgy bars.
Sure.
That just taste like popsicle sticks.
I would imagine. And they're a buck for us anyway.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't understand that.
I guess it was supposed to be a buck for a suck, but they couldn't say that. And they were supposed to cut him off way sooner, and they just didn't because they didn't know the joke.
But a buck for a suck suggests that you're spending $1 for a blowjob, right? But where does the Fudgy Wudgy bar come in?
The Fudgy Wudgy bar is $1 a piece. He's trying to make a buck.
So he can get a suck later.
Maybe.
Okay, so he's selling Fudgy Wudgy bars so he can pay sex workers to give him a blowjob.
I hadn't considered that.
That's such a dense plot for this
for
Slurms
this.
McKenzie.
Yeah.
All of this was done in a studio, all the sounds.
Well, it sounds like they were along a parade route.
Actually?
It could have been a live remote.
I feel like there would have been so much more outside noise.
That's true.
I feel like I like to imagine that they were in a studio and they were all just doing like Foley sounds on their own. That makes this sound.
That does sound more realistic.
That sounds cheaper.
Yeah,
when it comes to wire length.
Yeah, you don't want to set up the Zephyr outside, do the whole live remote.
They'd have to, because fairgrounds are always like in the middle of a fucking mall parking lot or like a flea marketplace.
That's true.
So like what is it going to be, a fair right next to a radio station somehow? So
unless they are putting on the fair, which could be.
Could they afford that? Is this that big of a station?
I don't know.
You don't know anything. You're supposed to know everything about anything that's coming into my brain right now.
I sadly don't know anything about Spuds Buckley.
Spuds McKenzie.
You have me saying Spuds McKenzie. The other clip I have here, early in the XM days, they come back from break, and Opie has the music coming out of break very loudly on the monitors, and everyone is busting his balls over it because it's too loud in the studio and you can't hear anything. And he explains that it's because of an incident when he was working at the Fox and someone had called to request a song that had a lot of cursing in it. And back in the day, when you're a DJ, you typically put the song on, turn the monitor off, talk to whoever, because you just think the song is fine. You've heard the song before. You don't need to hear it. But this person kind of set him up by having him play a song that had like 40 or 50 fucks in it. And he just kind of assumed the song would be okay. And according to Opie, he almost got fired for it, but he had to beg for his job, and they let him keep his job. So I included this because it's a clip of Opie talking about his days at 103.3, kind of getting dogged about it, and just generally sounding kind of defensive about it.
But why did they fire? Did they realize that Spuds Buckley was irreplaceable?
When you're making $12,000 a year, yes. You're irreplaceable.
12 large, nice.
I was doing midnight to 6, and then I would sit in on the Bear Man show all the way to 10 a.m., Anthony.
The what?
The Bear Man. He's a good guy.
The Bear Man?
He was the guy I told you. I used to tape my sexcapades.
Yeah, but the Bear Man?
And then play it back for him, yeah.
What was the name?
You're making a face.
Well, yeah.
Is something weird about that? Something weird about... I
would film my sexcapades, and then I'd make him watch them?
It seems like Bearman wanted to see them.
Okay. Well, still, I imagine there were non-consenting parties in this situation.
I don't think Opie's partners knew that Bearman would then be watching or listening to his sexcapades after. I don't know what equipment he'd be using.
He is a radio guy, so he doesn't...
He probably wouldn't have much video. This is also late 80s, early 90s. You're not going to have the video equipment on hand, I don't think.
Yeah. What are you going to cut a hole in a teddy bear and put a giant camera behind it?
I don't think that's going to fly. So Opie's kind of in the barrel here. And
in the man barrel.
The man barrel. And they're busting his balls over having worked with the Bear Man. They completely overlook what we took issue with, the whole sexcapades thing. But they continue to make fun of his early time in Buffalo.
I just want to say I would never want to see Anthony sex tapes.
Or Opie's?
Or Opie's sex tapes.
Neither.
Neither. I have no idea what Opie looks like.
There's a picture of him in 1033.
Yeah, good.
With a straw or something hanging out of his mouth.
Does he look like Beck?
He does look a little bit like Beck. I didn't really think about that.
He looks like Beck mixed with Trixie Mattel.
His name was the Bear Man.
Ugh.
Why?
He's like the king of Allentown radio to this day.
Bear like arr,
Yeah,
or bear like you're ready to jump in a crock pit.
Huge guy
in New York.
Huge, 6,
Yeah?
6 maybe 300.
Oh, okay. That's
huge,
what I was asking. Why
guy.
the Bear Man? And he's big like a bear.
And I don't know what he's doing now, but back then he did some great radio.
He's the king of what?
Well, he's from like Allentown area, so.
The king of Allentown radio?
Yeah. They brought him into Buffalo, and then he moved back home. He does fine for himself.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but just that title is awful.
Well, that's the title I just gave him. I don't know what they call him.
Oh.
So.
He's the king of Lancaster comedy.
So where were we? We went off on a major tangent. We were going to talk about something.
We absolutely did.
And I just wanted to include that.
Yeah, why?
Well, it's interesting to me. Opie just wanted to tell this innocent story and seemed as if he didn't realize that he was going to get made fun of for it. Because there's instances in there where Jimmy is making fun of Bearman's name. And again, I'm kind of expecting people to know all the players here. The other voice that heard in there was Jimmy Norton. He's a third mic comedian who eventually joins the show in about 99 or 2000. And Opie just kind of has this tone in his voice that he didn't expect them to be making fun of him
He's
for
like,
it.
oh.
He's like, oh, this is something he does good radio. I wanted to include that because what we're going to find down the line is Opie kind of becoming an outsider. And I think this is kind of the genesis of it.
Oh.
Or not this exactly, but around this time period, he kind of finds
a hint.
I'm the third mic, Jim is the second.
Oh.
We'll hear more of that as time goes by.
Okay.
So, Opie's working at 1033. He's working midnights. He's doing some morning shows until he finally lands a job at WBAB in Long Island. WBAB. And he's doing the nighttime attitude. And that is where Anthony Cumia comes into the picture. Anthony's history to this point. He is an air conditioner installer and repairman.
HVAC certified?
I don't know about that.
Uh-oh.
No radio history, so to speak, at all.
Well, you don't know that. He could be repairing HVAC things in a radio station.
Well, you're right. There is some to an extent because he did have a CB radio. So he operated one of those.
A chatterbait radio.
Oh! Well, not much different,
no.
Honestly. We've got Opie, who's been doing radio for about 10 years, and college, and we got Anthony here, who is fresh on the scene.
Why, Anthony?
Okay, we'll get into Anthony's personal history as time goes on, but professionally, to this point, Anthony and his brother Joseph Cumia, are in a alternative metal band called Rotgut. They're big fans of Opie because everybody in town knows the Opie show. He's huge. They decide, we're going to enter this parody song contest about O.J. Simpson and the O.J. Simpson trial. Part of what I want this show to be is to kind of be a rundown of how Anthony got as racist as he ended up being. For those who don't know, the Opie and Anthony effectively ended in 2014 when Anthony got fired from Sirius XM for posting what could only be described as a racist tirade on Twitter. With that said, I want to present to you the music video for the song that Rotgut presented to the Opie O.J. Simpson parody song contest.
I'm sitting in Los Angeles jail, and the judge won't let me post my bail. Now this could be the end of me, 'cause California's got that death penalty. They're gonna electric shock O.J., cook my behind like a chicken croquet. Ooh, they're gonna electric shock O.J., toast my behind.
You couldn't even splurge to do blackface with like an afro wig.
Now, see, here's what's funny. Anthony himself has an afro. Legitimate. He has an afro. He doesn't need a wig for it. At this point.
He doesn't have as nice of a fro as OJ, I guess.
Well, at this point, OJ doesn't even have an afro.
Well, what the fuck?
It's just he's sitting there in blackface. If anything, it's just to perpetuate stereotypes.
Yeah, what?
So, yeah, for y'all who can't see, it's a cheaply made...
To refuse to see.
Yeah. Y'all could look this up on YouTube. It's Gun Electric Shock OJ, a parody of the Otis Redding song Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay.
Yeah.
So that is the song they record for the Opie contest, and as story goes, Joe stands outside WBAB with the tape of the song and wants to give it to Opie specifically because he knows if he gives it to anybody else in the station, they're probably just going to throw it away. So he's like, no, I'm going to wait for Opie to get off the air and give him the tape so I know he gets it and he'll listen to it. Opie listens to it, loves it, and invites Anthony and Joe to be on an episode of the Nighttime Attitude. It's either 94 or 95.
So was that video recorded after they won the thing or something and were invited, or was it?
I'm gonna guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now they know they've got a hit on their hands. At least locally in Long Island.
I will say,
I don't know how you would see it, mind you.
Yeah, that's
there's
what
no
I'm saying.
YouTube or anything.
Yeah.
Where's anyone gonna see this?
I hate parody radio music videos.
Yeah. They're usually pretty corny.
And songs.
Yeah.
That is by far the most offensive one I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll hear worse.
Oh.
As time goes on.
Oh.
Rotgut here put out a formal album in 1993. Up until Ant's involvement in the Opie show is his main focus.
Do you have that album?
The band. I do. It's called Live at the Apollo.
The cover, very provocative indeed. It had us in blackface with an Apollo rocket behind us.
It's a play on both things, you see.
How witty.
Space and racism.
Spacism.
This has been his main focus. They have a full album out. I've realized recently that Brother Joe has actually taken the time to upload 2 more full albums to Spotify that they never formally released. But they're all on there now, because I guess they were just sitting in Joe's garage. So you can listen to 3 full albums of Rotguts, kind of along the lines of like Red Hot Chili Peppers, where it's like alt metal.
Do we really want to bring them into this?
Well, it's because they have the funk element sometimes. They got the bass going. There's some songs that even kind of sound a little
It's
ska.
a poor racist man's Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. If you read Anthony's book, and I will unfortunately acknowledge or admit on the show that I have read his book.
But you didn't buy it.
I did not buy his book. If you do a quick Google search, you can find a PDF of it and read it for free. So that's where I read it. There are numerous times he addresses this, and he is not, in fact, racist, and would like everybody to know that.
Well, that clears things up.
It's a bum rap. It's in a book. As far as I'm concerned, that's all I need to do is put it in writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, who's going to argue with that?
Yeah, it's legally binding.
And did you write a book on how Anthony's racist? No.
Oh,
he wrote a
that's
book
an
on how
idea.
he's not racist.
That's an idea.
I mean, if anything, this podcast could be the groundwork. It can provide the blueprint.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the first clip here. It's the start of Opie's Nighttime Attitude, and he introduces us to the 2 guests he has in the studio.
It's Opie aboard. Thanks for checking out the program tonight. And we got another fine show planned for you guys tonight. Mm-hmm. We got my pals Joe and Anthony from Rotgut live in the studio.
Opie, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Just in case people don't know who you are yet.
Yeah, well, that
they are the famous authors of Gun Electric Shock OJ, which you're going to do live on the show tonight.
That's right.
And you're going to do other ditties.
Yeah, other wacky, kooky stuff, Opie. You know?
Going into business for himself immediately.
You're not a fan of the impressions he's doing, the little voices.
Well, no.
He did a little...
He's no Ernest P. Worrell.
No. Mr. Happy to be there. Very,
This fanboy.
He is a fanboy at this point, because it's hard to imagine that this schlub doing nights in Long Island is kind of like a local celebrity. He wants to hitch his ride to the back of the Opie show. and ride it to a life that doesn't include working in hot attics installing air conditioners, which is fair.
All right, I need a ruling. I started a new bit yesterday. Celebrity Death Watch.
Right, yep.
All right, you might have heard this last night. Monday, Jessica Tandy, the old broad from Driving Miss Daisy, died.
Hey, I'll take that contract. How old was she?
It's 85.
Oh, please.
Anyways, I don't know about you, but I've always been under the... celebrities die in threes, basically. Always, right? So it's the Celebrity Death Watch. I guarantee 2 more prominent celebrities will die before October 1st. So we're just waiting and watching. George Burns in the hospital the other day.
It was a close call, very close call.
But he got out of it.
Yeah.
98 years old. He has, his brain is swelling.
He pulled out.
And he pulled out of it. I was like, darn.
First of all, darn. I think that's worth pointing out. I did a little bit of research. 2 more prominent celebrities do not die before October 1st, so unfortunately this bit doesn't go anywhere. They have high hopes for George Burns. He ends up living to at least 100.
Oh, at least. You don't know how old he lived?
I think
Is he still alive?
No. I think he dies at 100. I don't think he makes it until 101. Point is, he's 98 at this point, and he doesn't die for at least 2 years.
What an asshole.
So already the always dying in threes.
My mom had the same superstition.
You hear this sometimes because it happens, and people think that, oh, it happened this one time. Like, infamously, I remember Farrah Fawcett passed away, then Ed McMahon from The Tonight Show and the Publishers Clearance House, and then Michael Jackson. All in, the span of a week.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were to look at other prominent celebrities who died that week, you're just not counting them.
You wouldn't be, no.
Yeah.
And are either Farrah Fawcett or Ed McMahon by that point in time as prominent as Michael Jackson? No.
Yeah, it's just a confirmation bias.
That's all that is. So already there's holes in that. And Opie wants a ruling that this is a thing that happens. And Anthony, more than happy to agree with and laugh with everything Opie is saying here, is saying, oh yeah, 100%, absolutely, I love this bit. What's about to happen is another one of the famous Anthony impressions. And the setup, I think, is probably one of the funniest parts because it has absolutely nothing to do with anything they're talking about.
I always wanted to see George Burns singing that extreme song. If you don't like what you see here, get the funk out. But he never does that.
Very good.
Maybe now, after he's bopped on the head.
But I need a ruling.
I'm confused.
Yeah?
Let's chalk this up as the first. I'm confused because
Okay.
there will be more.
A ace in the hole here. This bit he thought was going to go over huge. If I sing this song as George Burns, is going to get a big laugh. So that was his faulty setup to give him an excuse to do it.
Gross.
And he got a little chuckle out of Opie, so I'm sure that was validating to some extent. Probably didn't get as big of a laugh as he wanted. But that's fair. The night's still young. There's still more opportunities to make Opie laugh and do bad impressions.
Well, we're going to debut real fast a song from Rotgut about the Cuban refugees.
Right? There was Billy Joel made a tribute to the Baymen.
Right.
And we figured, why not go to the other southern half of the states and make a little tribute to the Cuban boat people.
Let's check it out on the Nighttime Attitude.
What is happening?
So, what I think is funny here is that up until this point, if you look at the Rotgut discography, there's a couple songs that are parodies of TV show themes, but most of them are just original songs. Here in this episode alone, you hear 3 parody songs from Rotgut that are all wacky morning parody songs. This is potentially the direction they're going in.
So they started a band so that they could make parody songs.
That wasn't the goal, it seems.
Are you sure?
They wanted to be a legitimate band.
Then they realized they were bad, and so they started doing parodies. No, they wanted to be racist.
Our songs aren't going to get radio play on their own.
They wanted to be problematic and shocking.
This is their in, they see. This is how they can get some radio play finally, is to throw racist parody songs to the Opie show.
More like schlock jocks.
Oh, fuck. Shots fired.
Schlots fired.
Should that have been the headline, by the way? When Anthony got fired? Schlocks fired?
Schlots fired.
Schlotsky.
Schlotsky's
Gonski.
fired. Schlotsky's Gonskis.
I'm just throwing him out there.
The shithead gets fired. Okay, what?
I set sail on a broken pinata, and I hope I can roll very fast. I've been out for about 15 minutes, and the water is up to my ass.
So you can kind of get a feel. There's like 4 verses to this goddamn song.
And I can barely make any of them out.
So it goes in the racist things. I'm riding on a broken pinata, then later he says enchilada.
The Cuban refugees.
And all this. And it's just to make fun of...
Do Cubans even use piñatas?
I
believe that's Mexican culture, right? No, I just wanted to point that out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find plenty of holes to punch in the rock out logic here. So
that's why I'm here.
There was a protest on August 5th of 1994, which thousands of Cubans took to the streets in Havana to demand freedom and express frustrations with the government. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s, Cuba fell into a crippling economic crisis that had many civilians or citizens looking to flee the island.
Oh, okay.
So that's the context.
Just
there.
a big shit show.
Yeah, big shit show. People are trying to get out.
Yeah.
So that's a prime target to make fun of and lampoon in this parody song. And I say it goes over big and that it's a hit because I would have to play the whole song for you to hear. But there's a lot of chances where Opie has the microphone on and he's laughing huge. He's putting it over big.
Gross.
Yo, BAB!
Hey, Opie, how you doing? It's
Debo! Faithful listener to the program, Debo. Tell all the faithful listeners out there how big your breast got last night.
Opie, they kept growing.
They grew after you left here?
Yeah.
You're lying.
No, I don't really remember what they were, but I think they grew like 2 inches.
Are you serious?
Yeah. 34.5 was the top.
Right.
35.
Right.
And 32.
So you got a ways to go still, but that's a start, right?
Yeah.
So did you like the hypnotist that made breasts larger through hypnosis last night?
I loved it.
People thought I was full of you-know-what, but it worked, right?
It sure did.
All right, what do you got tonight, baby?
I wrote a poem about it.
Let's hear it.
Sure was witty of me to increase my boobs on WBAB. A stretching feeling and a tingle. Now I'm ready to go out and mingle. One guy reached out and copped a feel. I turned and said, yeah, baby, they are real. I want to say thanks to Opie and Mike, because now my boobs, the guys seem to like.
Skit. Which probably comes back?
No.
This skit, I have a theory.
Oh.
Was the inception of inflation fetishes.
Oh. Maybe it's struck something in Opie that he wasn't aware of. That could be potential.
It could do.
That is a theory. It's a working theory. I think this clip ends with something worth pointing out also here.
I like it. I hope it lasts long.
You call into Opie and WBAB and you go, hey, Opie, boo, 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 boo.
Well, that sucks.
You didn't hear it at the beginning.
It's like a baby.
It is a baby. Anthony actually did it when they were being introduced in the beginning because he wanted to show that he was a fan and he knew the bits.
Boo, 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 boo,
boo, boo, boo, boo.
Boo, 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 boo.
Yo, BAB!
Yo, Opie, what's up? This is Barry.
Barry, are you enjoying the show tonight?
Oh, of course I am.
What made you laugh?
Oh, every freaking skit that you did tonight. Hey.
Everything?
Oh, the one that just happened.
All of it? I love it. Like, don't put me on the spot, Opie. What the fuck? I gotta pick one now?
Hey, wow. I love your show. I listen to it every time I get a chance to.
All right, I love your show, too.
I love you.
What do you do?
Listen, I'm getting married in 2 days.
All right.
I wanted you to do something special, like punch out my wife or something over the radio.
What?
Yeah, what the hell?
It's good to know that romance is alive and well in the 90s.
She likes a beating every once in a while.
Dude, don't you realize after the whole OJ thing, it's not really, like, cool to talk about punching out your wife?
Oh, but that's...
Oh, yeah. Now you're the moral police. Whoa.
See, I was about to just say, until that point, it was fine. But now, because of the OJ thing, now it's not cool.
Yeah. OJ ruined it for everybody.
He ruined it for everybody. It was a great bit. We all loved it.
It was a great bit. Fucking domestic violence. The best bit.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, if you watch any entertainment from any American entertainment, honestly. Yeah, it is a bit.
It was a huge punchline in I Love Lucy that we can't deny, unfortunately.
A what line?
What did I say?
You said a punchline.
Oh, god damn it. Now I'm no better than fucking Opie on BAB. Boo 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 boo.
Yeah, you're gonna get canceled in 20 years.
Wow, that long, huh?
You got that long.
Fuck, counting down the days.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
All right.
Hello?
Hey, Dawn.
Yes,
So you're going to marry this clown?
I sure am. I've never been happier.
You know he wants me to punch you out? Sweetie, I say we punch him in the face. What do you think?
Well, I'll take care of that later.
Well, check this out. And would you like to punch him in the groin as well?
No, I don't think punching's what I want to do.
All right, we'll kick him in the groin. Check this out. And how about we break his nose?
He's got to look up for the pitches.
Well, good luck with marriage. I think you guys might need it.
Thank you.
Love the boo 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 boo.
If we had been born in a different decade.
Oh. Yeah?
I would have punched you.
Okay.
No, I was going to say that could have been us.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know?
Well, what I think is funny and why I wanted to leave that clip in specifically is because I guess the punching out people on the radio is a bit that the guy knew of that Opie does, I guess. But he insisted, well, let's put your fiance on the phone and then we can punch out the guy. And he's like, hey, how about we do this?
She's like, no.
And she's like, what? Well, my favorite part is that really long stretch.
And would you like to punch him in the groin as well?
No, I don't think punching's what I want to do.
No, I think I want to do loving him in the groin. I want to love his groin.
And probably none of these sounds play over a phone either. They probably sound even worse than they do when they're recording.
I just imagine that like it's a couple, right? And the dude is like looking at his wife while he's on the phone. He's like, yeah. I don't know, punch her out on the radio or something. I don't know. Yeah, and she's like,
who are you talking to? What?
And then he gives the phone to her, and she's like looking at him like,
no, I don't think I want to punch him in the groin.
like she's like so wet. She's like,
oh wow, you put me on the radio, baby. I'm gonna fuck your groin later.
It's Opie, boo 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 boo. I'm talking to him.
What do I do? Do I go boo 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 boo?
Does she know the bit?
Yeah.
I mean, in this universe, in the lore, everybody listens to Opie because he's the big shot on campus. So who doesn't know boo 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 boo?
Is this a college radio show?
It's honestly hard to distinguish the difference.
Since my daughter's wedding, my crying just won't stop. I was dead and resting peaceful, now I'm spinning like a top, baby. My daughter's married to, my daughter married pedophile.
Not the direction you thought that was going to go?
No, I thought it'd be racist.
I mean, it very well potentially could have, and I think it might.
It gets racist.
That's always in the cards. So...
we should create a game. There should be a drinking game.
Of when does it get racist?
We should do a drinking episode.
Oh, okay.
Where you play clips, and then we afterward think of the game. So it's, so you're not trying to kill me.
Right,
alcohol poisoning.
It's like there's a bunch in this one.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's just like, okay, what are we going to do now? We pull a card, and it's like, this one is going to be like all the racist bits, all the rape jokes, all the slurs, and stuff like that. And it'll, by the end of it, I'll just be like, kill me. So, yeah, okay.
So Elvis's daughter just recently married Michael Jackson. That's...
Oh, I thought it was a play. I forgot about that. I thought it was a playoff of the fact that Elvis was after young girls. Allegedly.
It's funny that, I mean, maybe that wasn't as widely known in the mid-90s.
Yeah, I guess.
So this ends up being a medley of songs. He does like 3 different Elvis songs.
The pedophile love medley.
The nighttime attitude. It's Ope. Hope you're enjoying the program. We're having an absolute riot tonight.
Yeehaw! How you doing, man?
Sam Kinison back in the
Yeah, we're
studio.
stopping back over here. Just, bloated myself on some pie. You got those people in here going to be spanking each other or something?
Yeah. Here, give me a little whipping post so I can explain this. I actually had a guy just call up. He's coming by with his wife.
You call that a wife?
Okay, so Anthony,
my visualization is that he's a puppet right now.
Anthony only has a few go-to impressions at this point, and the late Sam Kinison is one of his favorites.
Oh, the household name.
Well, in the mid-90s.
Who is?
Sam Kinison was like a shock comedian. Like Bill Hicks, kind of that vein. But not as like political as Bill Hicks, more like misogynistic, sexist, kind of potentially racist jokes. That kind of shit.
I imagine
like an Andrew Dice Clay.
I imagine a shock comedian is somebody who wears a shock collar, and if the crowd laughs, they get shocked, so they don't want to make anything funny.
I think you're gonna go the reverse, where for every time they don't laugh and they bomb, they get a shock collar.
This way it explains why nobody laughs at it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's not funny.
So what they're...
That's my saying, it's not funny.
It's not.
I just wanted to put that out there that I don't think it's shock comedy's funny.
Especially when Anthony is doing this.
Is it shocking to put bad impressions on?
Well, see, what his thing is, I'm making fun of someone who's also dead. So that's the shocking bit.
Oh!
I love Sam Kinison so much, but I'm going to make fun of him because he's dead.
What a roast.
What? Yeah, I'm sure he would have loved it. So what they're setting up here is that a couple is going to come in, and they have an S&M type relationship.
Like sadomasochism?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you meant like something else.
And that the husband is going to be whipping his wife in the studio for the group's enjoyment. And they're playing the song Whipping Post poorly on an acoustic guitar as Opie lays out what's going to be happening later on in the show.
And he wants to spank her live on the air tonight.
Yeah, who doesn't?
And the hotline's ringing, that's my boss. We're not going to answer that. Boss, I'll be good. I'll be good.
I'm going to guess that that's bullshit.
Yeah, right. Like, they could just walk in.
Yeah.
Like, their boss is probably at the studio.
Well, unless they went home already, because this is the night show. They might be home.
What do they live, 30 minutes away?
That is true.
And they give you all this lead up?
Because in the short time that I had interned at radio stations, it was either at the night show or the midnight show where there was literally nobody else in the building.
Yeah.
So if a general manager or program director is listening, they would be at home and they'd have to call in.
Right, but they're not listening. Nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening to this.
Nobody's listening.
No. So Opie has to inflate it and make it seem like
we're bad boys.
Yeah, we're such bad boys.
We're doing porn on the radio.
The manager's calling up. We're just going to let that shit ring, bro.
Where's my soundboard?
Yeah, I'm very surprised they don't have a soundboard at this point. Well, he does. He has the punch sound effect.
Yeah, well, he has the punch sound effect, but it genuinely sounded like he popped a roll of bubble wrap to do the broken nose thing.
There was one sound effect that was a punch sound effect. Then it was like... that was the kick sound effect, was just somebody yelling. And then, the broken nose sounded like you were breaking celery or like doing Foley work or like popping bubble wrap. That's what that shit was.
The Fairgrounds one was better.
And he has like hot wax he wants to do tonight on the program. Yeah. So I don't know. Possibly that will happen.
Yeah, maybe I'll bring him in.
He drops it on her mammalian protuberances.
The way you cut that.
That was intentional.
Okay.
That was a little bit of comedic editing on my part.
There you go.
We have a few clips left. I think this is a setup for another song. Because I think they do like 4 songs this fucking show.
Big news a little while ago was the Cuban refugees. Now we might have Haitian refugees. Oh boy. Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Not one of Anthony's strongest impressions.
Not at all.
I just wanted to point that out, that he went for Ren and Stimpy and it didn't land at all.
So you guys came up with another Cuban refugee song.
Yeah, it's another one.
This one's hysterical.
This one is just in case. This one is just in case they start coming over again, in case the deal falls through.
All right.
They start.
And we do have a disclaimer on this song.
Yes.
Right, our guitarist, Rex, he is actually Cuban, so we can't even get in trouble for this.
All right.
We can't get in trouble for this one because there's a Cuban member of the group.
Yeah, that's how it works.
So this is the backup. Not we're so tapped on ideas for songs that we wrote 2 songs about Cuban refugees. This is, just in case the plan falls through, we have another one.
Drown, drown, Cuban, drown, drown, Cuban, drown. Yeah, Cuban, drown, 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 Cuban, drown. Cuban, drown, 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 drown,
you cannot perform music well, perform parody music badly.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. We all know where this one's going, and it goes like that for a while. Now,
it goes a little something
like this. So yeah, the whole point of the show is, I guess, is to be shocking, and Anthony and Opie plays it up that they're going to get complaint letters or complaint calls, and I guess at this time period, that's a good thing. You would want that, because that's any attention.
I mean, you see that now.
True.
You see people digging their heels in, that group of people.
Because cancel culture isn't real.
Yeah, because cancel culture, you have to fight back against cancel culture because cancel culture isn't real.
Yeah, because we're going to keep playing all these parody songs, we're going to be silenced by still having airtime, and we're not going to actually get punished.
Yeah, our rights are being taken away because the people who own the station are silencing us, so they're taking away our First Amendment right.
And if anything, it's just going to be a bunch of virtue signaling white libs calling in, because we're not going to get letters from actual Cuban refugees.
Yeah.
Because they're not even listening to this.
Yeah, no.
So they're not going to be... so it's just going to be people offended on their behalf.
Yeah, oh God.
Those race-trading white people.
Those race-trading, yeah.
That's always the thing. If you're fighting on the behalf of another marginalized person,
right,
you're a race traitor and you're fighting against white people.
Yeah, and that's which, it's just such a dog whistle for white people above everything else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be on our side.
You're supposed to be above that.
You have a problem with oppression when we're doing it? What's your problem?
Yeah.
A little Ozzy.
Yeah, it's the Ozzy Lounge Act, Opie. Yeah. That's right, everybody sing along here in the Catskills.
Anthony, he was the catalyst of cringe culture.
Oh, okay. See, what's funny, you're going with a kind of laid the groundwork for something.
Yeah.
I included this clip for one particular reason. I'll explain why here in a second.
Crazy, so are you. That's how it goes. Come on, everybody.
Millions of people.
Millions, Joe.
Take off their clothes.
They take them right off.
Hey, nothing's to worry about.
Hey, crazy. And you know I am. That's how it goes. Millions of people. Try the veal here all week. Thank you. We'll be here all week.
Okay, good. So Opie even had to step in and say, okay, he's had enough of it. No, but the reason I included that is because the lounge version of Crazy Train that ends up being the theme song to the Osbournes reality show isn't released for another year. The Pat Boone cover of Crazy Train, I think, is released in 95.
Oh.
So someone could make the argument that they were ripping off this bit.
It had the far-reaching
implications.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That Pat Boone was listening to a late-night radio show on Long Island radio specifically.
No, we know that didn't happen. What happened was somebody clipped it and they sent it to him.
Oh.
And they were like, should this be a copyright claim? And he was like, actually.
You're going to fucking love this, Pat. This is right up your alley. 2 clips left. And that's going to put an end to the episode, and you can finally eat something.
I'm eating my stomach's eating itself alive.
Sure. Everyone move back. Move over. Duck. Oh my God.
That's frightening.
I've seen some towel snapping in the locker room, but this is way out of hand.
Do we have security in the building? Okay, so this is all in fun. I got to say this right away because
this is just to have fun.
So you do bachelor parties, right? Mm-hmm. And you did one tonight, and Master Spike's not happy with you.
No, I'm very, very disappointed about
He said I was
a dirty little slut.
I don't think you can say that.
I'll be here all week. Try the veal. Thank you very much.
So that was, she referred to him as the master?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's not just an S&M relationship. That's, a sub and master relationship, not just sadomasochism.
Right, yeah, I guess that it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the relationship, and Theater of the Mind, FM radio, we just kind of have to assume that that's actually happening there.
Wait, what's Theater of the Mind?
That you're not seeing it, you have to visualize it yourself.
Oh, I like that phrase.
Yeah, they always
make it sound so sophisticated.
Yeah, this bit, it brings a whole new level of
it's
class.
Like Sherlock Holmes level of intellect.
Yes. What this ends up being is the catalyst and the beginning of a beautiful friendship between Opie, Anthony, and not Brother Joe. Brother Joe
got out with the skin of his teeth. Like,
Anthony's attention is drawn further and further from the band, and more nights are spent on the Opie nighttime attitude, and becomes more of a regular guest, and eventually leads to them as a duo getting picked up and being given a slot of their own in WAAF in Boston. And that is where the next episode picks up. They're no longer just trying to write some songs for the show.
Yeah.
Anthony finally has a gig. He can finally quit his air conditioning installing and repair job and finally work in radio. It's been Muse and Neb for O&A De-Talks, and we're punching out.